there was greeny blue. In it was a red spade. Colors made their way outside of the mirror stand, particularly green and pink. A presence moved out on the floor between me and the mirror. And there was some grayish dark color with it, but almost neon. There was a breeze that came through me, and I felt heady, tingly, and then the rush of analgesia came down me, and the columns that I saw earlier which were twisting and pulling everything in the colorful scene into it, had turned into orange. The accounts of Elias Ashmole are proof that certain things existed in Freemasonry before people think that they existed in Freemasonry. That Freemasonry provoked people to go get involved in other stuff. Not on an official basis, but yeah. And you see the different spellings of Kabbalah, which, in reference, they've kind of changed. The Hebrew Aramaic spelling would be with the Q. The spelling in the Hermetic or alternative religion sources would be with a C and less letters. With the K, you'd have the Christian Kabbalah, and that, of course, would have the most letters to it. And Elias Ashmole was accused of some stuff, just like John Dee was accused of some stuff. And he did go around casting horoscopes and all that stuff. He seems to have stayed involved in Freemasonry, and there were some different terms. The exception, accepted, and admitted. And just like Albert Pike rewrote stuff and kind of combined these, and didn't he put a couple more rituals or something? Elias Ashmole is said to have rewritten the Freemason material to some degree. Well, I don't recall it saying that in this book, but his notes lay out the rituals, and some of it, it said, oh, well, this is a corruption for this. It's like, well, maybe that's not the version that he heard, right? And King James was said to have been a Freemason that, supported the whole thing. Unlike John Dee, Elias Ashmole sort of was more fearful of the results of the sort of stuff that had happened before, so he's well aware of all that stuff going on. But being a Freemason, he could go to a lodge, and you could be a Catholic or a Protestant or a secularist, and, so he learned to, well, he probably learned beforehand, but he knew that you could be involved beyond the political and the sectarian divisions. He himself, unlike John Dee, was more of a liberal. And by liberal, I meant his approach. So he wasn't quite the righteous individual that John Dee was. And he showed that you could study and work out the impetus implied in this magical literature and the connection to the Bible and all that stuff without necessarily living up to its ethics. And I too would advocate that sort of thing, that unlike what you see with a lot of mystical orders, that you have to have a certain level of morality and all that stuff, it's like, if you can behave yourself in the place where you do the symbolic or spiritual rituals or whatever you're going to call it, if you can, hold your act together there, whatever, go, learn, etc., etc. Now, if you say that it's better to actually live that morality, then you don't have to, it's a little bit different, right? That, the highest thing is to do it all. But any bit of it's going to help you some. And alchemy, the turning of things into gold, that was certainly attractive, but there seemed to be something more going on. And when it came to esotericism, people are going to say, well, which extreme are you going to be? Are you going to be an ascetic? And I don't say you can be an ascetic without being one of those people that, you're separating from the body. You see the body is bad. Or on the other hand, the spirit's all whatever. The body is the vehicle, and you're operating the vehicle according to spiritual principles, so you're in total control as an ascetic without denigrating the body. Or at least you don't have to, right? Or you don't have to just give up on all that for the spirit. Because this idea of this, you got the spirit of it, it's like, if you're not trying to follow the law, if you're not trying to have, following through with the consciousness, and you're just saying, oh, well, I just have this impulse of devotion that doesn't, it's like, no, if you love, you follow the commandments, right? And certainly one's own emotions and feelings would teach you. Officially, he was a comptroller, but it seems that he may have been involved in some other stuff other than just being a Freemason or whatever for the royals that he worked with.